Hey, it's Tony with lidl.doodle. It's spooky season, and I am going to share 8 of my favorite inks for writing in spooky season. The first is a lovely orange Fuyu Gaki. This is a Pilot Iroshizuku ink, and I actually have this in one of my pens this month. I really like it. It is a super fun, just nice, bright, pumpkin-y orange. It does not have any shimmer or sheen. It just, when you think of Halloween orange, this is what I think of. I put a lot down, so it's going to take a second to dry. And the pen that I have it in is my Zodiac Penco Patsy Koi, and this is a medium nib. Pilot inks, I have found, the Pilot Iroshizuku inks that I have, they flow very nicely in all of my nib sizes. Iroshizuku, and this is Fuyu Gaki. All right, and next up is another Pilot ink. I started off with these two because I just think they're classic Halloween colors. And this is just a really nice purple, Murasaki Shikibu. Maybe that's it. Sorry. Anyway, this is a fantastic purple that just makes me think, when I think of a Halloween purple, this is the color that comes to mind. And again, it's going down really dark, but once that dries, it is so pretty. I love that. I have this in one of my pens as well. I actually, when I was planning this, found that I had 4 of the 8 colors already in pens, so that was kind of fun. So this is, a little hard start there, Pilot Iroshizuku, and I know I'm just messing up that name, so I'm not going to try to say it again. Murasaki Shikibu. Okay. All right, so I will hold those up in a minute after they get a little dry. The next 2 colors are Diamine. I think just pretty classic colors for Diamine. I know they're well enjoyed in the pen community. This is Diamine Writer's Blood. I have this in a pen. I'll show you in just a second, but this is just a rich, dark, kind of ominous red. And when it goes down, it almost looks black. It's like a super dark brownish red. And in some pens, it just really looks dark once it dries. But I know it's a favorite in our household. Both my husband and I have pens inked up with writer's blood probably all year round. So we write with writer's blood quite a bit. I have it in my TWSBI Eco Tea in red. And this is a stub nib, so the ink just flows with this. It's kind of fun. So this is Diamine Writer's Blood. The next ink up is another Diamine, and this is Oxblood. I do not have this inked up, and it is really close to writer's blood. So we'll see once we have it side by side here, maybe what some of the small differences are. I don't use this as much, and I think it's because we probably got this one after we got writer's blood, and I just never really switched over because I feel like it's just really close to writer's blood. And so I never felt the need to have two pens with such similar colors. But it looks like, just as it's going down, it's got more red in it than writer's blood does, where it looks like writer's blood is kind of got some brown to it. I'll do the little writing sample. So this is Diamine. Okay. All right. Next in the lineup is another Diamine ink. It's a standard ink from, I think, last year's Inkvent, and it's called Ghost. So of course I had to pick that for Halloween. It's kind of a grayish, looks like might still have a little bit of sheen when it dries, sometimes even if it's a standard ink, depending on what pen I use. I find sometimes I'll get a little sheen out of it. Well, that's fun. So this is just looks like kind of a blue-gray. That's a nice color. And just as a side note, this is my favorite time of year. I love all the holidays, but spooky season is my favorite because we go on a marathon of horror movies, and it's just such a great time of year. And yes, I did ask AI to make me a tiny Michael Myers holding a piece of pizza. And it delivered, because not only do I have tiny Michael Myers holding a piece of pizza, he's standing on a pizza while a big Michael Myers watches him. So that had to get printed out on sticker paper for sure. That was too much fun. So let's finish writing the sample here. And again, this is another Diamine ink. And this is just plain old Ghost. Okay. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you know I have struggled with my dip pen, my Kakimori nib. And I've talked about, since I got this pen holder from Carolina Pen Company at the San Francisco Pen Show, it's been a game changer. Guys, I absolutely love this pen holder. If you are interested in writing with a dip pen, I don't know, maybe it goes against dip pen rules, but I think go straight for the smaller pen holder. It has made such a difference for me, and I love writing with this. I find all kinds of reasons to write with it. Okay, the next ink up is Call of Cthulhu. Now this is a Wearingeul ink, and they have the title wrong. It's actually The Call of Cthulhu, not Call of the Cthulhu, but whatever. This is just a super rich ink. It goes down, it's like super kind of greenish blue, and I think, if I remember correctly, it kind of has like a reddish purple sheen once it dries. We'll give it a minute and see what happens. But this is a fun pen. I don't have this, or fun ink. I don't have this in any pens, but it's a fun ink to dip and play around with. So this is, oh, got a little too much ink on that. Wearingeul. The Call of, I always want to spell Cthulhu wrong. Oh. Okay. So I'll give that a second and see what happens when it dries. The next ink up, these last two are also Wearingeul. Wearingeul just comes out with fun themed inks, and we just happened to pick up these three that I just felt like were very Halloween-y. So this one is Frankenstein, and it's purple, and it has this really awesome bluish purple shimmer to it. And I do have this in a pen. I will show you in just a second. But it is super rich purple, and the shimmer is very pretty, but not obnoxious. I've got some shimmer inks that are crazy obnoxious that I maybe even don't have in pens, that I just use for other purposes, because if I put them in pens, it's just too much. Actually, that's the case with the last ink I'm going to show you. And I have Frankenstein in my Carolina Pen Co. This is one of the Koi series, but I can't remember which one. I've got it written down somewhere. I don't remember which one. But I have Frankenstein in this. I believe this is a Barad. So we've got Wearingeul. Oops. Frankenstein. All right, last up, this is probably the most intense ink of the bunch. This is Dracula, and it is red with this bluish purple violet shimmer to it that I have put this in 3 different pens, and none of the pens like it. So I've kind of given up on putting it in a pen, and instead I'm just using it in my ink journal. I'm using it in some of my art projects, definitely finding uses for it. But even in my 1.1 stub, the shimmer is just a little too much. So I'll just be okay with that. And maybe I'll find a pen eventually that will handle this ink, but it's just pretty intense. So for now, I'll just use it for my dip pen and be okay with that. I have way too much ink on that. Let's try again. Okay, so there are my choices for spooky inks. Okay, so the inks are pretty much dry, so I figured I'd do a close-up here. There is the Pilot Irishizuku Fuyugaki, the Irishizuku Murasaki Shikibu, the Diamine's Writer's Blood and Diamine's Ox Blood, and I think you can kind of see now the brown and the Writer's Blood, and then just a bit more red in the Ox Blood. The Diamine Ghost, so even though it's a standard ink, I feel like there's just a little bit of a blue sheen. The Call of Cthulhu, that's still a little bit wet. So the sheen's not 100% coming out, but you can kind of see it on the lettering and the side of the circle. Then there's Frankenstein, the shimmer, and then there's Dracula. And you can see in that little blob how sparkly that is. So once it's fully dry, it's really going to have a cool shimmer. So there's my top 8 picks for spooky inks this month. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. If you have spooky inks that you like to write with in Halloween, I would love to know what those are. And yeah, if you have questions, let me know. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day. See you on the next video.